In the Safe and Civil Schools approach, we get at this through the CHAMPS acronym: conversation, help, activity, movement, and participation, which when added together equals student success. Let's look at the teach piece with an individual student intervention. We know we need to provide extra instruction in reading and math for some students. This same concept is true for behavior. Some individual students need more repetition and need more explicit instruction and practice to learn some school behaviors. This is often referred to as teaching replacement behaviors. Provide whatever teaching and practice is needed to get to behavioral mastery. With an individual, this means remedial lessons that are more explicit and involve more practice than the universal lessons that all students received. Moving on to the O of STOIC, observe. Everyone behaves better when we're being observed. Let's begin with a couple of adult examples. Our houses are usually neater when company is coming to visit, and we tend to adhere closer to the speed limit on interstate highways when a police officer is in front of us or behind us than when no officer is visible. At the school-wide level, this means we need plenty of adult supervision. I am often in secondary schools in which there are not enough adults in the halls. I frequently see elementary playgrounds where there are a perfectly adequate number of adults present, but all three of them are standing together and talking to each other, and nobody is watching the students. At the classroom and individual student levels, the observe skill breaks down to physically circulating and visually scanning. We all remember teachers who the students referred to as having eyes in the back of her head. This simply means that the teacher was so connected to what was going on in the classroom, most problems never had a chance to develop. Some people say, why can't we get students to behave without needing all of this adult supervision? My response to that is to suggest that you reread Lord of the Flies. Students need the systematic civilizing presence of adults to communicate how civilized society works. The I of STOIC reminds us to interact positively with students. I am in some schools where there are plenty of adults in the halls observing, but they're standing in their doorways looking like this. It sets a tone. Adult behavior should look like this. Good morning, Marco. Sarah, welcome. How you doing today? Jamal, see you in fifth period this afternoon. In the Safe and Civil Schools approach, we suggest you think of the I, interact positively, in three ways. 1, provide frequent non-contingent interactions. Greeting students, asking students if they need assistance, connecting with students as individual people, and systematically building a positive and respectful relationship. 2, provide frequent, age-appropriate positive feedback that is specific and descriptive. And 3, maintain ratios of interactions that are minimally 3 positive for every corrective. That is, the sum of my non-contingent positive interactions and my specific praise should be at least 3 times more frequent than interactions in which I have to correct a student's misbehavior. The research literature says that we will fall into patterns of paying 3 to 15 times more attention to misbehavior than we do to positive behavior. The problem with this is that some students are starved for attention. If my interactions are skewed to the negative, I'm inadvertently communicating, if you work hard and follow the rules, there's a great chance that I will not notice that you're here today. But if you annoy me, I will be right there for you every 3.5 minutes. What the adults pay the most attention to is what we will get more of in the future. However, this does not mean that we should ignore most misbehavior, which brings me to the C of STOIC, which is to correct misbehavior fluently. Here's what we mean by fluently: calmly, consistently, immediately, respectfully, and briefly. Example: I would rather have no dress code at all in a school than a dress code that is enforced by only 7 out of 10 staff members. With that kind of inconsistency, students get very bad, unclear information. We also need internal consistency as individual classroom teachers so that we're consistent with students from hour to hour, from student to student, from day to day. With our most challenging individual students, consistency when correcting their misbehavior is absolutely essential as one part of an intervention plan. So the STOIC framework summarizes the types of comprehensive interventions we recommend. What we find is that most school personnel know these concepts, but may not all be doing these things on a regular basis. The remaining presentations provide information on how the Safe and Civil Schools materials and corresponding training options help staff consistently implement the proactive and positive strategies summarized with the STOIC acronym.